Hello, Matthew Cary, designated expert of the Carter Johnson Library and Collection. I am here in the Center for Sex and Culture with Mama Vi, and today we have a very cool box that we are unboxing. Mama, this is from...
This is a box from John Wirenius. It is one of 3 that arrived at the library a few days ago. I've been dying to get into this. It's probably the lightest of the 3 because I think there's a dead body in each of them, but that can't be but so accurate. And
I carried them in for the car. I will attest to that. Yeah.
There are a lot of reasons I want to see what's in this box. But, Cary, before we go on, you need to understand who John is in this community. John Wirenius, also called John the Red, is a lawyer that has worked very hard in this community for well over 2 decades. He is a wonderful Leatherman who has been out for just about 30 years. But he is a First Amendment lawyer.
Nice.
Now, we have a number of his books here in the library because he is also a scholar, a reader, and a writer about Victorian authors.
Okay.
We have them because they were written by a Leatherman, not necessarily because they're about leather topics. But where most people might have heard his name is associated with a legal case that went all the way to the Supreme Court of Nitke versus Ashcroft. Nitke was the Barbara Nitke in the Nitke versus Ashcroft, and most of the people in this tribe either know Barbara or have seen her work.
The time frame of this actually goes back to Mr. and Miss World Leather. Barbara was at that event, and I remember her discussing this then. So yes.
Yes. Barbara is a world-famous photographer who at one time was also married to another world-famous photographer who took a stand regarding this tribe and the images that represent us. But Barbara fought a case all the way to the Supreme Court, trying to get the Supreme Court to define the parameters, and this is very badly stated, but to begin to define neighborhood parameter and guidelines for decency on the internet. John Wirenius was the lawyer who wrote the briefs for that case and defended it before the Supreme Court.
Awesome.
He is an old and dear friend, and about a year ago, I asked him what he was going to do with all the paperwork from that case. Was there a legal library, college, university that he was going to send it to? And his response kind of surprised me. He said, "Do you want it?" Yes.
Yes, the answer to that question is always yes.
And the 3 boxes arrived. And now I'm dying to know what's in here.
So this is box 1. If you will give me a moment, I didn't want to make all the horrible noises over here explaining.
So let's find out what is in the box.
This is box number 1 of 3 opening. This is some files. All right, let me just.
Now I heard something moving in there.
This one was interesting. I think they were just shifting.
Okay, I'll go with that.
So here we have, in the Supreme Court of the United States, Barbara Nitke et al., appellants, v. Alberto R. Gonzalez, Attorney General et al., on appeal from the United States District Court for the Southern District of New York, motion to affirm. I will let you look through this. This is an official Supreme Court document regarding this case.
Yeah. Oh, I have no patience. Take the entire set of files out, just put them on the
Well,
table.
these are little things that I have to get out first. This is the, on appeal, this is the jurisdictional statement. This one's a little thicker than the last. I'm going to get these out before they get mangled. This is the reply brief. Okay, and the rest of this is tipped. So let's do it this way. What we have is a stack of files that have fallen. Some are flat, some are vertical, and they're flipping around. So I'm going to do this and let gravity work for us.
Yes.
Apologies.
I love the sound of that.
Here we go. Let me give it mostly out of frame. Oh, this is a copy of the deposition of Bennett Russell and Thad Laurie, expert witnesses.
Oh, yes, indeed. To all of our legal scholars, paralegals, people who are studying to be lawyers, the case made history. And if you want, we are going to try our bloodiest to get these things digitized so that we can get at least some of these records up where our scholars can find them.
For those of you that weren't familiar with the case, let me read you this full page on this one, just so you get an idea of what this was. Barbara Nitke, the National Coalition for Sexual Freedom, and the National Coalition for Sexual Freedom Foundation, plaintiffs, versus John Ashcroft, Attorney General of the United States of America and the United States of America. Just reading that full thing kind of gives you the feel of what they were up against.
These are his briefs, his notes as well.
And depositions.
The depositions of witnesses, the case itself. This is the entire case of Nitke versus Ashcroft. And since John told me he was sending us his notes, his scribbles, and everything else to our legal scholars, if you want to read these, remember, the library does have a young scholars room where you can come and study these notes. This
one strikes me as
magnificent.
Particularly interesting. Deposition of an expert witness taken by the defendant. So that's one of the defendant. Oh, no, that's the wrong side. I apologize. We're plaintiffs. We were plaintiffs. Appearances. This looks like actual transcript. Best I can tell. Ooh, that one got thick. These are the actual court transcripts.
And they are still marked confidential, by the way. This is going to be going into its own file, or actually probably into two files in the what we call our vault, which is the place where we keep private papers, things that have been sent to us that they have asked, the sender has asked not to be open for fill in the blank. A few years to 10 or 20 years or decades. We honor those requests and seal them. But John has said that the library is free to make all of this information available to anyone who wants to come and to read it. So
these are fax cover pages from where documents were faxed to a judge. It's just that sort of legal paperwork. It's literally the case.
All of it. Nitke versus Ashcroft is now here residing in the library. John, if you can, if you do zoom into this little presentation, please hear me. Thank you. Not just for myself and our old friendship, but thank you for future lawyers and law students who will be reading this. You have made a platinum mine available to this community. Thank you.
Well, like you said, because this is just various and sundry, but it's the whole case. I mean, it's not like it's just the transcripts. It's the faxes they sent to the judge and the notes that the court sent back. That's the one that suffered from being that Rocky box. This is amazing to have. And if you are an attorney looking for a landmark case in our community, this was one of them.
All right, designated extrovert, how does it feel to do an unboxing with me?
It was great to do an unboxing. This is my second and the third that I've witnessed personally. The first one I was behind the camera and Robbie was giving me the sly looks throughout the whole video. So it's a lot of fun to watch that one. I love participating in these. We did the Kane Berlinger one with his
trophy.
Yes, the trophy and everything. So this one, like I said, I remember during Mr. and Mrs. World, Barbara was there and had time on stage and explained what was going on and expounded on the importance of this to our community and rallied everybody for it. So for this to come full circle for me, from hearing about it as it was going on to now here it sits in the library as history makes me feel old, and is an amazing resource. This is really cool.
So, see you in the library.